Periastron Stars RPG is a classic-style Roblox RPG, with a lot of items to collect and a lot of secrets to find. In this video, I will go over how to obtain every single item and fill out every single index entry in the game that is currently obtainable as of Update 8. I will not be going over any seasonal items or anything that you can only obtain from an admin. Due to the nature of the game, I will go over everything in progression order, meaning that the index entries for enemies, weapons, and armor will not be separated. If you are looking for a more in-depth guide, giving a closer look at each enemy, weapon, and armor in index order, you can follow the link in the description to the index guide that I have posted alongside this video. If you wish to fill out the index, make sure to kill at least one of every enemy you run into. Also, as we progress, I will keep track of which weapon and armor you should be using in the corner of the screen. So first we start off in the spawn area, and immediately what you're going to want to do is equip the bronze sword in your inventory. Head into the field and attack these grass monsters to gain your first experience in gold. If you take too much damage, feel free to heal up in the healing fountain. Make sure to head to the shop and buy the iron sword and gold sword once you get enough gold, and to equip the bronze armor once you reach level 3. Once you feel confident enough, you can head over to the grass titan and defeat him, making sure to grab the grass legend that he drops. Side note, when an enemy has a drop, they will have an exclamation point above their head. If they have multiple drops, they will have more exclamation points. There is also a rarity chart at spawn that will help you figure out how rare a certain drop is. Reaching level 4, you're now at a point where you can head into the next area. In the plains, kill thieves for faster experience gain. Once you reach level 7, don't forget to head back to the shop at spawn to pick up the iron armor. At level 8, you can head into the thief cave. In this area, you can find dwellers, and following this path will lead you to the Bandit King, who drops the stone hammer. This is the first area with a secret, and to find it, you can head along this path through this fake wall. In this room, you will find the Lost Dweller, who drops the black iron sword. Once you've reached level 12, head back to the shop at spawn again to put on the gold armor. At level 15, you can head into the deep forest. In this area, you can find goblins, orcs, and the druid, who drops the bamboo katana. Once you've reached level 17, you can equip the Viridian armor, and at 22, the Forest Protector armor. This area does have its own shop, however, I do not recommend you focus on purchasing the items from it until later. After equipping the Forest Protector armor, you can head into the next area, the graveyard. In this area, you will find zombies and skeletons. This is also the first area with an event enemy. In any given server, a new event enemy is chosen to spawn every 5 minutes, and only one event enemy is active at a time. You can speed up this process by spending Robux in the Robux shop at spawn, or hopping between servers to find one where the enemy you're looking for has already spawned. The event enemy in the graveyard is the boss zombie, who spawns in this spot and drops the zombie axe. Once you've reached level 30, you can equip the bone armor and head into Darkseid's crypt. This area acts as a boss arena for Darkseid the Fallen, who drops Darkseid's sword, Darkseid's armor, and the amethyst Periastron. The Periastra are very rare, having only a 1 in 400 chance of dropping, so it may be ideal to skip this item for now. However, they are required to progress once you reach a certain point, and they do usually deal a lot more damage than other available weapons. If you would like to AFK this boss and are worried about being hit, you can stand behind his throne. At this point, I should also mention the auto attack glitch. If you click and hold on the screen, and then, by any means, release while your cursor is hovering over a UI element, like a button or the pause menu, you will continue attacking automatically until you click the screen again. However, this means that the game will be left alone the entire time, and you will be automatically kicked if you wait for 20 minutes. If you plan on AFKing for an extended period of time, I recommend an auto-clicker. Once you've reached level 35, you can head back through the deep forest and into the swamp. In this area, you will find swamp monsters, brambles, and the Spitter, who drops the Scale Slasher and the Spitter Scales. There is a secret enemy in this area, and you can find it by jumping into the bush on the side across from the Spitter. And here, you will find Azurewrath, Serpent of Chaos, who drops the Dracus Slazoid. Once you've reached level 50, you can go to the Super Boss room from spawn and fight the Stone Goliath, who drops the Rock Smasher and Goliath Crown. After that, head into the tower. This area is a little different from the others, being broken into many segments. Once you climb up the truss, you will find knights. Progressing further up, there will be a maze to navigate. Past the maze, you will find a shop for this area and 2 armor sets. At level 55, you can equip the Knight Armor, and at level 70, you can equip the Black Knight Armor. There is a secret in this room, which you can find by walking into the statue that has a darker color. In here, you will find the Dragon Slayer, who drops the Dragon Slayer's sword. You can get back to the tower by heading into this gray portal. Ascending further, you will run into Black Knights and then Wizards. Wizards drop 3 items: Health Potions, Strength Potions, and Speed Potions. They also drop a considerable amount of gold, so at this point, I recommend you save up gold to buy out the earlier shops. The shop at spawn sells the torch for 2,000 gold, and the index book for 1,000 gold. The shop in the deep forest has the Viridian Sword and the Bone Sword, which together cost 4,750 gold. The Night Merchant in the tower sells the Longsword, which costs 10,000 gold. Progressing past the Wizards, you will find a teleport to the top of the tower, which requires level 70. Don't forget to equip the Black Knight Armor before heading to this area. At the top of the tower, you will find the Sunslayer, who drops the Sky Fracture. At level 71, you will be able to head past the Sunslayer and into the Skylands. This is the first area with different music, and in here you will find Sky Guys, Gold Titans, and Valkyries. At the far side of the area, there is a boss named Cool Enemy I Made that drops the Kill Aura. There is a shop here that sells the Skyblade for 15,000 gold. Next to the shop, you will find the Holy Armor, which you can equip at level 80, and the Ethereal Armor, which you can equip at level 100. At level 110, you can head through the door to the right of the boss. Heading through this door, you will be brought to the Portal Room. This is how you travel between worlds. Directly to your right should be the Hall of Portals for World 2. Head through the portal titled The Desert. In this area, you will find Cact Guys. There is a secret here, and you can find it by heading to the right from where you entered. Climb onto this pillar and make this jump. It can be a little tricky, but it is fairly straightforward. In here, you will find the Desert Bandit, who drops the Sand Tempest Scimitar. The only way to get back to the desert from this room is to teleport to spawn by holding T and head through the portal room. Once you've reached level 140, you can head over here and equip the Cactus Armor. Then head into the pyramid. In this place, you will find mummies. Heading further down, you will run into a door on your right. Head through and jump into this hole to find another secret enemy, the Undead Soldier, who drops the Ancient Scimitar. Once you've reached level 155, you can head through the door titled The Pharaoh. In this room, you will find the Pharaoh boss, who drops the Pharaoh Sword. There is also an event enemy who spawns in this room, the Pyramidal Man, who drops the Golden Serpent's Katana. Once you reach level 175, you can head into the beach. This area has swashbucklers and pirates. And at the end is Davy Jones, who drops the Captain's Cutlass. On the right side of the area, there are 2 armor sets, the Sea Strider Armor and the Pirate Armor. They both require level 190, though the Sea Strider Armor offers higher speed for lower health. Pick whichever you prefer, but make sure to equip both of them at least once to add them to your index. The Pirate Merchant sells the Cutlass, which costs 25,000 gold, Pirate Tonic, and Super Pirate Tonic. The Pirate Tonic increases your attack speed by 5% and stacks up to 5. The Super Pirate Tonic functions the same as drinking 5 Pirate Tonics. Both Pirate Tonics are also available at the Advanced Item Shop at spawn. There is a secret in this area, and to find it you need to walk into the water, making sure to avoid the whirlpool. On the left side, there is a small cave where you can find the Cave Pirate, who drops the Pirate Hook. Once you've reached level 210, head into the whirlpool past Davy Jones to enter the ocean. In this area, you will find barnacles and jellyfish, as well as the diver at the top of this rock, who drops the mackerel. To find the secret in this area, head to the corner between the entrances to the deep ocean and the jungle. There will be a hole that you can drop through to find Hydracora, the Abyssal Serpent, who drops the Serpentine Sword. Once you reach level 240, equip the waterlogged armor at the beginning of the area. Once you've reached level 250, head through the large crack in the seafloor into the deep ocean. In this area, you will find the Abyss Golem and Drowned Gladiator. At the very bottom of the area is King Triton, who drops Triton's Trident and the Azure Periastron. To AFK King Triton safely, stand behind his throne. To find the secret enemy in this area, head over to this ruined building and drop through the hole in the floor. In here, you will find Cthulhu, who drops the Leviathan Blade. This area has an event enemy named Bubble that spawns here and drops the Bubbler and Bubble Armor. At level 270, you can equip the Thalassic Armor at the beginning of the area, and next to it is the shop. The shop sells the Otterhead Short Sword, Abyssal Sword, and Tidal Wave. All of the items together cost 240,000 gold. Once you've reached level 300, head back up to the ocean. Then, head over to the Bubble Column into the jungle. In this area, you will find cavemen and mute ants. The boss at the end is the man in conveniently realistic gorilla suit, who drops the banana and bare fist. Be careful of this boss, as it is the only enemy in the game that deals infinite damage. This is the first of 3 areas to have a secret mythical item that isn't a Periastron. To find the secret, head to the right of the campfire and hug the invisible wall until you see a katana stuck in a rock. Click the katana and you will be teleported to a ninja dojo. In here, there are ninja enemies that drop the katana. You can also find ninja armor that is available as soon as you can access the area, so make sure to equip it. There are 6 rooms with different ninjas that all drop their own katanas. The red ninja drops the crimson katana. The ochreous ninja drops the ochreous katana. The golden ninja drops the golden katana. The iris ninja drops the iris katana. The blue ninja drops the blue katana. And the jade ninja drops the jade katana. Once you have obtained at least one of every special katana, place them onto the stands at the end of the main room. After this, a door will open up, leading to a room containing the mythical weapon, the Epic Katana. The only way to leave this room is to teleport to spawn and go through the portal room. Once you've reached level 325, make sure to grab the jungle armor by the campfire. Once you've reached level 400, head to the portal room. Go to the second hallway to your left, which corresponds to World 3. Go through the portal titled The Mountain. In this area, you will find rock monsters and mountain titans. At the very top of the mountain is the Mountain King, who drops the Mountain Legend and Malachite Guard. Once you reach level 440, go and equip the rock armor. Next to the rock armor is the Mountain Shop, which sells the Earth Sword for 500,000 gold and wall staples for 5 million gold. Make sure to buy the wall staples. To find the secret in this area, head to the left and look for a vertical dark brown strip. After buying the staples, you should see a prompt pop up when close to it. Staple the wall and climb up. At the top, make sure you are not in shift lock or first person, and pull the sword. Walking too far in the wrong direction will kill you. However, when teleported into this area, your character will automatically be facing the direction of the enemy. Turn your camera to match the angle of your character and walk forward. Here, you will find an enemy named Man, level 1, who drops a sword. Once you have obtained Sword, climb to the top of the mountain and head to the right. Now, hug the wall and head back, making sure to stay on this ledge. When you reach a corner, there should be a small gap that you can fall into. There will be a crack in the wall, and walking through it will bring you to a secret room. There are 5 pedestals in this room, and on them you will have to place the Dragon Slayer's Sword, Serpentine Sword, Sword, Leviathan Blade, and Black Iron Sword, in that order. Once you have done that, jump into the center. You will be brought to a large hazel-colored area with enemies called Hazel fragments. At the bottom, you will find a boss called Archduke Umberon, who drops the Hazel Periastron. Once you've reached level 450, either through the portal room or from the top of the mountain, you can enter the Tundra. In this area, you will find ice monsters, Nevermore, and the Ice King boss, who drops the Frost brand. The shop, which can be found inside of an igloo with a sign next to it, sells the Sub-Zero sword, which costs 750,000 gold. Inside the same igloo, you can also find the ice armor, which can be equipped at level 475. The Tundra also has an event enemy called Evermore that spawns behind the shop igloo and drops the Evermore sword. Once you've reached level 500, you can go into this building at spawn. The wizard inside will offer you blessings, which you can buy for 10 million gold. Dexterity makes you attack faster and do less damage, agility makes you move faster and have less health, and vitality makes you take less damage and generate health faster. After that, you can fight the super boss Borealis, who drops the Everfrost Lance and Ice Queen's Aspect. Once you reach level 520, you can proceed into the factory. In this area, you will find robots. Once you reach level 560, you can head inside and find drones and Killbot, who drops the Metal Scrapper. At level 580, make sure to equip the drone armor. Once you reach level 600, you can head to the dungeon, either through the portal room or the entrance on the mountain. This area is a labyrinth, so follow where I go. The first enemies you run into will be prisoners. Past the prisoners are enemies named Diseased Dog, It Bites. The Diseased Dog enemies are in a larger central room, and heading to the left will lead you to the Chainman enemy, who drops the ball and chain with Rigor Mortis. Taking the path to the right will lead you to a crossroads. Head to the right again to find the Izor boss, who drops the Saw Blade. Head to the left to find the entrance to the Cavern. Before heading into the cavern, turn around and walk through the cracked wall across from the entrance. This will lead you to the Ballman, who drops the Orbs of Truth. Head back to the beginning of the dungeon to equip the Executioner armor at level 650. At level 700, you can head into the cavern, either through the entrance in the dungeon or through the portal room. In this area, you will find stone warriors, crystal monsters, and the fossilized skeleton boss, who drops the Fossil Sword. This area also has an event enemy called the Ruby Titan, who drops the Ruby Goliath. At level 750, you can equip the Gemstone armor. Next to the Gemstone armor is the Old Shop, which sells the Rock Sword for 1 million gold. Once you've reached level 900, head into the Underworld. Here, you will find imps, archdemons, and the Flame Golem who drops the Firebrand in Crimson Periastron. Once you reach level 950, you can equip the Unholy armor. Next to the Unholy armor is the Underworld shop, where you can buy Molten Lava for 4.01 million gold. The Molten Lava is also available in the Advanced Item shop at spawn. You will need to buy this to access the secret enemy. Drink the Molten Lava and jump into the lava in this spot. Here, you will find the Molten Man who has seen God. Once you've reached level 1000, teleport to spawn and head to the portal room. Go into the second hallway on your right, which corresponds to World 4. This hall contains what was originally the hint for the locations of the Hazel and Fuchsia Periastra. Head into the Tarfield portal. In this area, you will find Tarmen, Tar Guardians, and the Tarmancer, who drops the Tar Legend and Tartar Sauce. Once you've reached level 1100, equip the Tarmor. Once you've reached level 1200, enter the Wheat Field through the portal room. Here, you will find Scarecrows and the Horseman boss who drops the Horseman's Blade. This area has an event enemy called Cow that drops the Farmer's Revenge. Inside the barn, there are 3 armor sets, but 2 of them you'll have to come back for later. Once you've reached level 1.35 thousand, equip the Farmer. Once you've reached level 1450, head to the Hallowed Forest. Here, you will find Sinister P and the Pumpkin, who drops the Pumpkin Sword and the Grimgold Periastron. To find the secret in this area, head forward from the entrance and find a vertical line on the wall leading up to a hole. Staple the wall and climb up to find the Grim Reaper, who drops the Reaper's Scythe. An event enemy spawns in the secret area named the All Hallows Warrior, who drops the Pumpkin Sword. Once you've reached level 1650, head back to the wheat field and equip the Hallowed Armor. Once you've reached level 1900, head to the Shattered Mesa. Here you will find Clayman and Clay Pot, who drops the Clay Sword and Clay Pot Armor. To find the secret in this area, find this slanted rock and climb it. At the top, you will find the Defender of the Setting Sun, who drops Daybreak. Once you've reached level 2300, head back to the wheat field to equip the Clay Bastion. Once you've reached level 2500, head to the Volcanic Wastes. Here, you will find Magma Monsters, Brimstone Behemoths, and the Kalaman Furnace, who drops the Telemonster. For the secret in this area, you will need the Molten Lava from the Underworld shop. Drink the Molten Lava and jump into this volcano. You will fall into a room with Crimsonwrath, Lord of Magma, who drops Crimsonwrath's sword and the Doombringer. Once you've reached level 2850, equip the Ashen Armor by the buildings. Once you've reached level 3000, you can fight the super boss Emberseye, who drops the Ember Eye and the Crimson Wings. Once you've reached level 3200, head into the Elementals. In here, you will find 4 armor sets and 4 doors. At first, equip both the Forest Keeper armor and the Fire Keeper armor to add them to the index, and then choose between them depending on whether you prefer speed or health. You can enter the doors in any order, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll be entering them from left to right. Through the Forest Elemental door, you'll find Forest Elementals and need to platform over some obstacles. At the top, you'll find the Keeper of Growth, who drops the Lifebringer. Through the Fire Elemental door, you'll find Fire Elementals and the Keeper of Fire, who drops the Infernal Fury. Through the Thunder Elemental door, you'll find Lightning Elementals, and up the staircase you'll find the Keeper of Lightning, who drops the Flurry Edge. Through the Frost Elemental door, you'll find Ice Elementals, and at the bottom of the pit you'll find the Keeper of Frost, who drops the Blizzard Buster. Once you've reached level 3700, equip the Lightning Keeper armor and Frost Keeper armor at least once. At level 4000, you can continue through the door to Pericles' throne, where you will talk to Pericles. Pericles isn't here in the video since I've already beaten the game, but he will be here if you haven't. Once you're done talking to Pericles, you can walk behind the throne into this hole in the wall and go into this teleporter, which will bring you to Happy Home. Happy Home is populated by noobs and guests, though in the home on the far side you'll find the Kleos, who drops the Linked Sword. There is an event enemy here called the Epic Chicken, who drops the Rubber Chicken Wand and spawns in the top of the slide. In the home to the right of the entrance, there are 6 armor sets. Once you've reached level 4500, you'll be able to equip the Lampshade Hat, but the others will have to come into play later. The shop in here is the most stacked so far, having the Wooden Sword for 200 million gold, the Claymore for 800 million gold, the Knight Sword for 1.8 billion gold, the Brigand Sword for 3.2 billion gold, and the Sword of the Highlander for 6 billion gold. Altogether, that brings the total price to 12 billion gold. Once you've reached level 6000, you can proceed to the Roblox HQ. This place is populated by builders and scripters. There is a secret enemy, and you can reach it by going behind the left building and placing staples. Climb the staples, and you'll be brought to Mr. Doombringer, who drops the Banhammer. Once you reach level 7000, you can go back to Happy Home and equip the BC Hard Hat, and then proceed into Builderman's office. Inside Builderman's office, you'll find Builderman, who drops the Ice Dagger and OBC Hard Hat. Once you reach level 8000, you'll be able to go through the portal to the Teapots of Doom. Here, you'll find Teapots and Adderite Teapots. There is a secret here. If you make this tricky jump underneath the staircase at the end and touch this teapot, you'll be teleported to the area with the Teapot Turret enemy, who drops the Gravity Hammer. Once you've reached level 8800, you can go back to Happy Home and equip the Teapot Hat. And once you've reached level 9000, you can step on the red brick at the end of the area to be teleported to the Black Iron Teapot, who drops the Wind Force. Once you reach level 10,000, you'll be able to proceed to the Heights. In this area, you'll find sword fighters, Vikings, and at the end, the Imperius, who drops the Illumina, Dominus Imperius hat, and Ivory Periastron. There are 2 secret enemies in this area. To obtain the first, jump off of the spawn platform, and while falling, move into the wall. This way, you'll land on the platform underneath. Go into the doorway and climb up the staircase. At the top, you'll find Shedletsky, who drops the chicken leg. In order to find the second secret enemy, walk to the edge of the platform that extends behind Shedletsky. In the pause menu, change your movement mode to click to move. Now right-click the small brick you see in the distance. After that, you'll probably see a platform in the distance with an enemy on it. Look in that direction and keep right-clicking in front of you until you're right next to the platform. Jump onto it, and you'll find an enemy named Enemy that drops Affront to God. I recommend turning off click to move after you're done with this, as moving the camera with right click can cause you to accidentally move the character sometimes. Once you've reached level 11,000, you'll be able to go back to Happy Home and equip the battle armor. Now, once you've reached level 13,000, you'll be able to proceed to Yorick's resting place. The first area in Yorick's resting place is entirely populated by ghosts. There is also an event enemy here named Ghostiri that drops Ghostiri's sword. At level 14,000, you can head back to Happy Home and equip the classic pumpkin hat. Once you reach level 15,000, you'll be able to move into Yorick's graveyard, which is populated by witches. There is a secret here, and to find it you have to jump into the grave on the top left. Down there you'll find the Void Star, who drops the Dark Heart. Once you reach level 16,000, you'll be able to move on to Yorick. Yorick drops the Ghost Walker and the Riddling Skull Hat. Once you reach level 17,000, you'll be able to proceed to the Banlands. In this area, you'll find Banlanders, Terminated, and 1x1x1x1 who drops the Venom Shank. To find the secret in the Banlands, you just have to go behind the waterfall, where you'll find the Banished, who drops the Colonel Panic Katana. When you reach level 18,000, you'll be able to equip the final armor from Happy Home, being the Shard Armor. Once you've reached level 21,000, you'll be able to fight the Super Boss Developer, who drops the Delete tool. Once you've reached level 22,000, you'll be able to reach the Astral Isles Tower from the portal room. Here, you'll find Astral Isles sentries, and once you reach level 23,000, you can equip the Astral Armor. Upon reaching level 24,000, you can enter the Astral Isles Towers and fight the Astral Isles Guardia, who drops the Midnight Sword. Proceeding upwards, you'll find Astral Isles Apprentices. If you head down the ramp on the tower across the bridge, you'll meet the Astral Isles Wizard, who drops the Magic Arts Sword and the Wizard Armor. There is a secret in the room with the Astral Isles Wizard. Click on the black book with this pattern on it, located on the left bookshelf on the 4th shelf from the bottom. The bookshelf should lower into the ground, and then you can enter a hatch behind it. Through here, you'll find the Astral Isles Initiate, who drops the Moonlight Hammer. But don't leave the room just yet, there's another secret. Walk over to this bookshelf and click this patterned book. You will be brought to a room with 4 pictures and 4 places for numbers to be entered. The pictures are different for every person, and they correspond to specific numbers. I'll put a key on screen and show the way that I entered the numbers to solve this puzzle. Once the puzzle is solved, a bridge will appear, and you will be able to reach the Katana of the 9th moon. Once you reach level 30,000, you'll be able to head into the Redcliff Valley. In this area, you'll find Redcliff Peons, and at the entrance to the castle, you'll find the Redcliff Knight, who drops the Redcliff Morning Star. Once you reach level 32,500, you'll be able to equip the Redcliff Armor, which is next to the shop on the left. The Redcliff shop sells the Redcliff Sword for 8 billion gold, and the Redcliff Battle Axe for 30 billion gold. There is an event enemy that spawns here called the Redcliff Deserter, who drops the Redcliff Elite Sword. Once you reach level 35,000, you'll be able to head into the Redcliff Castle. Here, you'll find Redcliff Commanders. There is a secret on the left, where if you go behind the crates, there is a staircase that leads down to the Redcliff Rogue, who drops the Redcliff Rogue Sword and Redcliff Rogue Armor. Once you reach level 37,500, you'll be able to fight the Redcliff Lord, who drops the Redcliff Greatsword. Once you reach level 42,000, you'll be able to enter the Overseer Cave. In here, you'll find Searlings, and the shop which sells the Overseer Short Sword for 45 billion gold. There is a secret here, and you can find it by heading over to the far side and looking at the side of this cliff. There is a prompt to staple it, and after climbing up, you can go through the eye to find the Prefectus, who drops the Overseer Hammer. Once you reach level 46,000, you can fight the Overseer Bandit, who drops the Overseer Axe and Overseer Cloak. When you reach level 46,500, you can equip the Overseer Armor next to the shop, and when you reach level 48,000, you can equip the Overseer Cloak and head to the Deep Swamp. In here, you'll find Overseer Warriors, and once you reach level 54,000, you'll be able to fight the Overseer, who drops the Overseer Warlord Sword and the Chartreuse Periastron. Once you reach level 58,000, you'll be able to enter the Emerald Knight Sanctum. In this area, you'll find Emerald Knights. There is a secret in here, but it requires you to count the dots on each of these torches. Since that's pretty tedious, I'll just put a diagram on screen showing the order you're meant to click them. After clicking the torches in the correct order, you'll be teleported to a room where you will meet Emerald Claw, who drops the Envious Bone Club. Once you reach level 60,000, you'll be able to equip the Emerald Armor in the room on the left. The shop is right next to it, and sells the Emerald Knight Sword for 80 billion gold. You'll also be able to fight the Emerald Knight Initiate in the room on the right, who drops the Emerald Knight Axe and the Emerald Knight Armor. Once you reach level 62,000, you'll be able to enter the Emerald Sanctum, where you'll find Emerald Knight Champions. Once you reach level 65,000, you'll be able to fight the Superboss Darkage Master, who drops the Darkage Naginata. Then, once you reach level 67,000, you'll be able to fight the Emerald Guardian in the Emerald Knight Sanctum, who drops the Emerald Knight Lance. Once you reach level 70,000, you'll be able to proceed to the Korblox Spire, which is split into floors just like the tower. On the first two floors, you'll be able to find Korblox Bladesman, and directly to the right of the entrance is the shop, which sells the Korblox Sword for 150 billion gold. Once you reach level 73,000, you'll be able to reach the floor with the Korblox Basher, who drops the Korblox Mace. At level 74,000, you'll be able to equip the Korblox Armor, and later at 76,000, you'll be able to enter the floor with the Korblox Necromancers. On the Korblox Necromancer floor, there is a secret. Go to the first pillar to the right and look at where it connects to the ceiling. On one of the sides, there is an axe stuck into it. If you stand next to that side while looking up, there is a prompt to staple the pillar, and when you climb up and click the axe, you will be teleported to a room with the Korblox Elder, who drops the Skeleton Battle Axe. Once you've gotten that, go back to the Korblox Spire and continue climbing. Once you've reached level 82,000, you'll be able to enter the room with the Korblox Death Speaker, who drops the Death Speaker Sword and Death Speaker Armor. Once you reach level 88,000, you'll be able to enter the Splintered Skies. Here, there will be Splintered Skies Guards and a Splintered Skies Sentinel who drops the Splintered Skies Morning Star. Once you reach level 92,000, you'll be able to equip the Splintered Armor. Next to the Splintered Armor is the Splintered Shop, which sells the Splintered Skies Sword for 250 billion gold. After reaching level 93,000, you can enter the Splintered Skies Castle, where you will find Splintered Skies Vanguards. There is a secret in here, and to find it you have to look behind the middle statue on the right side. There is a sword, and upon clicking it you will be teleported to a cloudy area with the Splintered Angel, who drops the Wing Slasher. Once you reach level 97,000, you'll be able to fight the Splintered Skies Justiciar, who drops the Splintered Skies Grand Sword and Justiciar Armor. For whatever reason they left out the second eye. Once you reach level 100,000, you'll be able to head to the Aureate, which is the first area of World 7. In this area, you'll find Golden Warlords. The gold shop sells the Golden Axe for 250 billion gold, and the Liquid Gold for 360.01 billion gold. There is a secret in this area, and to find it, you have to find a katana stand in the bottom right corner of the map. This katana stand requires the golden katana, which was likely used up when getting the epic katana, so you'll have to go back to the dojo in the jungle to get another one. Once you place the golden katana on the stand, a door will open up revealing the Rising Sun Samurai, who drops the Grand Samurai Katana and the Yellow Snowball. There is also an event enemy that spawns here called the Speedy Tarnished, who drops the club. Once you've reached level 109,000, you'll be able to fight the Aureate Assassin, who drops the Gilded Katana. When reaching level 113,000, you'll be able to equip the Gilded Armor, and when you reach level 118,000, you can enter the Aureus. In this area, you will find Auric champions, as well as a boss named the Aureus, who drops the Gilded Sword and Auric Robe. Once you reach level 130,000, you'll be able to enter Azurewrath's Void. Here, you'll find Voidlings. There is also an event enemy that spawns in the center of the circle of purple energy called the Knight of the Violet Abyss, who drops the Sword of the Violet Abyss. The enlightened individual to the left of the entrance will sell you the Void Crystal Sword for 1 trillion gold and Mind Grapes for 100 billion gold. The Mind Grapes will be very useful from now on, so I recommend stocking up. To find the first secret, head behind the entrance to the Monolith. There will be a wall you can staple, and climbing up leads you to an obstacle course. Complete the obstacle course, and use the Mind Grapes at the end to get past the eye symbol. You will be brought to a room with Violet Fang, who drops the Energy Sword. Head back out, and once you reach level 135,000, you'll be able to equip the Void Armor. After that, once you reach level 145,000, you'll be able to enter the Monolith. In the Monolith, you will find an incorporeal wizard who offers you 3 new blessings. However, instead of asking for gold, the incorporeal wizard asks for 10,000 of your levels. These blessings offer larger rewards, but require larger sacrifices as well. Berserk increases your damage but halves your health, Prosperity increases your gold but halves your experience, and Clairvoyance increases your experience but halves your gold. When you're ready to continue, step onto the portal in the center of the room. You will be teleported to another obstacle course, this time covered with Azure underlings. There is a secret to find, but it's a little difficult to explain, so you'll just have to follow my path. Down at the bottom, you'll find Azurewrath, Lord of Destruction, who drops the Shadow Slayer sword. Then, stepping into the portal in the room, you'll be brought to the normal boss room, where you'll find Azurewrath, Lord of the Void, who drops the Black Hole sword. Once you've reached level 170,000, you'll be able to enter the Crystal Mines. Here you'll find Crystal Elementals. Once you reach level 175,000, you'll be able to equip the Crystal Armor, and next to the Crystal Armor is the Crystal Shop. The Crystal Shop sells the Crystal Claw for 10 trillion gold, the Diamond Sword for 25 trillion gold, and 4 variants of Experience Potion, which change the color of your experience bar. When you reach level 185,000, you'll be able to enter the Deeper Mines. Here, you'll find Crystal Golems, and at the end, you'll find Aquamara the Stardust Serpent, who drops the Crystal Sword. There is a secret in here, and to find it, you'll need to flip 4 switches around the mines. The first switch is down by the water behind a crystal. The second switch is near the entrance to the Deeper Mines behind a crystal. The third switch is inside of a minecart that has fallen over. The fourth and final switch is right next to the minecart tracks. After flipping all 4 switches, a minecart will travel along the rail and crash into the wall, exposing an eye pattern that you can bypass with Mind Grapes. In this room, there are Mystic Worshippers and the Whale God, who drops the Crystallizer. Once you reach level 210,000, you'll be able to proceed to the Lunar Garden. The space shop sells the orbital katana for 100 trillion gold, and in this area you will find aliens and lunar overgrowths. In the greenhouse is the Lull Moon boss, who drops the Moon Wand. There is a secret in this area, which you can access by walking past the meteor and using the mind grapes to get past the eye symbol on the side of this wall. You'll then be able to staple the wall inside, and after climbing up you'll see an alien spaceship with a prompt to enter. The spaceship will bring you to planet Jupiter's rings, and atop the planet will be an enemy named Jupiter, who drops the Jupiter Greatsword. There is also an event enemy in the Lunar Garden named Comet, who drops the Star Splitter. Once you reach level 230,000, you'll be able to equip the Lunar Armor. Once you reach level 250,000, you can go to the Lunar Factory. In this area, you'll find droids. The Lunar Factory shop sells the Beam Sword for 400 trillion gold, and the Laser Saw for 750 trillion gold. There is also a secret enemy you can find by following the conveyor ramp up and using mind grapes. The enemy is called the Atomic Being, and drops the Atomizer. Once you've reached level 280,000, you'll be able to access the core. In here, you'll find blue droids and a sniper bot at the end that drops the Electro Slasher. Once you've reached level 285,000, you'll be able to equip the droid armor. Once you've reached level 310,000, you'll be able to progress to Eclipsus's castle. In this area, you'll find Meeboids. Once you reach level 325,000, you can fight the Knight of the Abyss, who drops the Shadow Dancer. Once you've reached level 340,000, you'll be able to head into the Eclipsed Foyer. In this area, you'll find Dark Warlords. The Eclipse Market sells the Dark Sword for 700 trillion gold, the Misfortune Sword for 1 quadrillion gold, and the Shadow Katana for 1.5 quadrillion gold. Once you reach level 365,000, you'll be able to head into the Royal Hallway. In here, you'll find Shade Spirits. Once you've reached level 380,000, head back into the Eclipsed Foyer and equip the Reaper armor. Once you've reached level 390,000, proceed to the Cosmic Ramparts. In here, you'll find Shadow Knights, and on the far left you'll find a Fallen Valkyrie, who drops the Fallen Wing Slasher and Fallen Valkyrie armor. There is a secret in this area, and you can find it by climbing up onto the window left of the entrance to the final staircase. Up there, you'll find a button. Once you press the button, a doorway will open up in the side of a pillar. Follow my movements. Down here, you'll find the Protector of the Shattered Sun, who drops the Immortal Solar Blade. Once you've reached level 415,000, head into the final staircase. Here, you'll find Dark Assassins. Once you've reached level 430,000, you'll be able to fight the super boss Lord Eclipsus, who drops the Eclipsed Cowl and Noir Periastron. After defeating Lord Eclipsus for the first time, any Periastra you have will be powered up, having damage that scales as you level, and abilities that you can use by pressing Q or clicking the button above your health bar. Once you reach level 450,000, head back to the Eclipsed Foyer and equip the Misfortune armor. Once you've reached level 500,000, head to World 8's Clockwork Peaks. The shopwork sells the Cog Cutlass for 2 quadrillion gold, and Cogs for 750 trillion gold. Cogs are also available at the Advanced Item Shop. Cogs will be useful further into Clockwork Peaks and elsewhere, so purchase at least 11. In this area, you will find Tinkerers. There is also an event enemy that spawns here named Time Bomb, who drops the Stick of Dynamite. Once you've reached level 530,000, you'll be able to head into the Clock Tower. In here, you'll find Steampunkers. Go up into the second floor and look behind crates for a hidden gearbox. Place a cog into it and backtrack to the beginning of Clockwork Peaks. There, you'll find a platform off to the right which you can use to get over to a secret enemy named God of Time, who drops the Cog of Time. Come back to the clock tower and climb up all the way. This will require 3 cogs. At the top, you'll find the Timekeeper, who drops the Time Weaver. Once you reach level 540,000, head back to the beginning of Clockwork Peaks and equip the Steampunk armor. Now that you have cogs, you can start the puzzle for the Fuchsia Periastron. The first gearbox is in the swamp, all the way to the left behind a tree. The second gearbox is in the beach, underneath the water. The third gearbox is outside the factory, near the top of the ice spike to the right. The fourth gearbox is in the Shattered Mesa, up on a cliff to the far right. The fifth gearbox is in Yorick's resting place, near the sundial. The sixth gearbox is in the Redcliff Valley, inside the castle behind the Redcliff Lord. The seventh and final gearbox is inside the Lunar Factory, behind a crate on top of some barrels directly to the left of the entrance. You also need to have activated the gearbox for the secret enemy in Clockwork Peaks, so make sure to do that if you haven't already. After putting cogs in all the gearboxes, head to spawn. Now, climb up onto the rocks that surround spawn, and head to the side that the Grass Titan is on. You should be able to spot an eye symbol on the wall. Use the Mind Grapes to go through it and fall into the Fuchsia dimension. In this area, you'll find Fuchsia fragments and Archduke Fuchsia, who drops the Fuchsia Periastron. Once you've reached level 560,000, you'll be able to access Sailor Cove. This area is populated by deckhands and sailors. The sailor shop sells the Coven blade for 2.5 quadrillion gold, the swordfish for 4 quadrillion gold, and the shovel for 4 quadrillion gold. The shovel is not a weapon, but a tool, and will be required for the obtainment of a specific weapon. Once you've reached level 575,000, you'll be able to equip the Captain Coat. Once you've reached level 590,000, you'll be able to proceed into the Cove. This area is populated by piranhas and drowned sailors. At the end of the area, you'll find the Lost Captain, who drops the Skull Cutlass and Skeletal Captain Armor. This is the third and final area with a mythical weapon that isn't a Periastron. Head underwater to the left of the ramp leading up to the Lost Captain, and look for a small tunnel. This will lead to a room with the Clamshell enemy, who drops the Pearl item, which is the highest selling item in the game. The room also contains a cannon pointed at a cracked wall, a diagram, and a shovel. There are 3 possible diagrams, one corresponding to the desert, one corresponding to the dungeon, and one corresponding to the crystal mines. Here are their 3 locations. Now, return to the cannon and place the cannonball inside it, and you'll blast the wall open, leading you to the Trident of the 7th Sea. Once you've reached level 615,000, you can head past the Port Captain door. Get up to the top, and you will find the Port Captain, who drops the anchor. Once you reach level 630,000, you'll be able to access the Endless Hollow. This area is inhabited by hollows and failing mystics. At the far end past the stump, there is a failing warrior, who drops the Razor Leaf. There is also an event enemy here named the Elder Tree Golem, who drops the Sword of the Lands. There is also a secret item that can be found if you head straight past the large tree stump on the left side. You should make it to a concave part of the outside wall. Walk into it, and then walk sideways to the right to enter a secret area. Talk to the NPC and watch the cutscene, and you should be teleported to a room where you can pick up the Multiversal Orb.
So basically, this orb allows me to travel through the multiverse. Isn't that crazy? It's very, very difficult to explain, so I'm just going to show you what happens when I do what I just did, basically. So I'm going to do it to you. Does that make sense? All right, hold still, please.
multiversal orb is an item that randomly teleports you to any area in the game. Once you reach level 660,000, head down into the grotto. At the bottom, you will be met with the Mystic Druid robe, which you will be able to equip immediately. The Viridian shop sells the Fairy Sword for 4 quadrillion gold, and the Scimitar of Winds for 8 quadrillion gold. Heading forward into the grotto, you will find many beetle warriors. On the way on the left, there is also a boss called the Spider Queen, who drops the spider leg and spider armor. Once you've reached level 700,000, you'll be able to enter the Poison Swamp. In this area, you will find snappers, as well as flyclops in the ruined buildings, and the Swamp King, who drops the Vile Thorn. If you walk underneath the deck in front of the Swamp King, you will end up in a room with an enemy named Enemy with a Sword and a Cape, who drops the Corrosive Edge and Swamp Cloak. Magnatu's Poison Swamp shop that he cares about very deeply sells the Viridian Katana for 8 quadrillion gold, and the Venom Bite for 14 quadrillion gold. Once you've reached level 720,000, you'll be able to equip the Swamp Lantern. Once you've reached level 740,000, you'll be able to proceed into the Fortress Ruins. In this area, you will find River Dwellers, and at the back you'll find the Mothman, who drops the Poison Scythe. Once you've reached level 800,000, you'll finally be able to access the Periastron Stars. You'll find Amethyst Fragments, and once you reach level 850,000, you'll be able to equip the Amethyst Armor and proceed to the Azure Star. Then, you'll find Azure Fragments, and once you reach level 900,000, you'll be able to equip the Azure Armor and proceed to the Crimson Star. The Crimson Star has Crimson Fragments, and once you reach level 950,000, you can equip the Crimson Armor and proceed to the Grimgold Star. The Grimgold Star has Grimgold Fragments, and once you reach level 1 million, you'll be able to equip the Grimgold Armor and proceed to the Ivory Star. There, you'll find Ivory Fragments, and at level 1.05 million, you'll be able to equip the Ivory Armor and proceed to the Chartreuse Star. There, you'll find Chartreuse Fragments, and at level 1.1 million, you'll be able to equip the Chartreuse Armor and proceed to the Noir Star. There, you'll find Noir Fragments, and at level 1.15 million, you'll be able to equip the Noir Armor, though you'll have to reach 1.2 million to get to the end. Now is the point at which you require all previous Periastra, apart from Hazel and Fuchsia. Once you have all 7 required Periastra, you will be able to head into the Pericles boss fight. Defeat Pericles to obtain the Rainbow Periastron and Periastron Crown, though in order to complete the index, you'll need to get the Wings of Duality from him as well. At this point, you should have gotten 100% in the index and should receive the Pericles Crown as well as its corresponding badge. Thank you for watching. As I mentioned at the start, there's a document linked down in the description that has information on every item in the index. Depending on the response to this video, I may make another video on all the event worlds. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video.